Landmark Worldwide. Today, crazy wild ride with outrageous claims, but we're taking a peek behind the curtain.
What's happening? We're going over Illuminaughtii, which you'll note is an anonymous channel, by the way. So it's just this head, and it's obviously a real person reading it. And yeah, so she goes over, actually, this is perfect. It goes over literally every single lawsuit they've ever been involved in until the one in the 2022 Chapter 7 in Texas. And oh, it's so great. I mean, she doesn't know the answer. She actually is
And looking at
quite concerned, which is valid. Um, but this is great because everything is actually positive for them, and she leads out at the very end of it, being like, "I don't understand how all these professionals could be mistaken." And that's the whole thing. It's like, so yeah, if you haven't done the former, the advanced course by Landmark Worldwide, I don't work for them, I don't represent them, I don't influence for them. I just see stuff online that is inaccurate. So I'm gonna respond, and by all means please respond back to my response, or comment below. But I realize that making comments in the comment section or spending time replying to replies that are mistaken isn't making as big of an impact as I would like it to make. So we're gonna start doing these videos. Well, we're almost done with these videos. I only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, there's so I was almost done with this, and then no, these are let's see. Yeah, no, I have a few to respond to. So in any event, yeah, let's roll through this.
into what this company does that's had people wary and skeptical of it. So let's jump right in. Landmark Worldwide, according to its website, is an international personal and professional growth, training, and development company with a range of offerings that are innovative, effective, and immediately relevant. Landmark's leading edge methodology enables people to produce extraordinary results and enhance the quality of their lives. Landmark's courses and seminars are offered in more than 125 cities via 53 major offices around the world. More than 193,000 people participate in Landmark's courses every year. I'm sure a lot of you that work an office job have heard of corporate seminars or things of that nature. The idea of a 3-day weekend that teaches people about getting ahead in business, what success means, or things of that nature.
Yeah, so it's not if you're comparing the forum to a seminar, um it's not like anytime you compare two things, you can set yourself up for upset, especially if you're talking about people. Um, what success means? No, it is not what success means. That is not covered at all. Do well in business, that is not what the forum has to do at all. If someone is up to doing well in business, then they would have a breakthrough in that through 5 days. But no, it's not none of this.
Is not uncommon. Landmark education has been around since the early 90s, and our entry course, Landmark Forum, seems to be nothing more than a development seminar. That is, until
Okay, like I said, it's not a seminar.
to dig a little bit deep. In order to understand Landmark, we have to understand EST, or Erhard Seminar Training. Werner
I mean, again, you don't have to understand where something was born out of. I mean, there's a lot of Buddhism in the forum, so we don't have to understand Buddhism in order to understand in order to understand the forum. Like, we don't have to keep going back and back and back. But if you want to, absolutely go for it. Warner's the man.
Erhard,
Lord help
father of
you.
self-help, was even described by the New York Times.
Father of self-help. Yeah, I mean, he would say that this isn't really an accurate headline. The forum is not self-help. The self-help industry actually may be causing people to stay in that. Well, no, they're not causing. I mean, look, we had to go there to get here. So I can't negate something that happened prior, which brought us to where we are. But yeah.
Started his seminars in the 70s. I'm not saying he was the only one doing this, but his seminars easily became some of the
Yeah, so empowerment is very different than self-help.
most controversial of the time.
People don't need help. They could use support, but they don't need help.
My swords, firing Estes, flocked the hotel ballrooms across the country.
There's nobody ever called them Estes. Aspiring Estes. Yeah, I mean, this is a sensationalized, hey, you gotta sell headlines, you gotta sell news, right? So people are gonna make it as sensational as you can to make it as bad as you can or as controversial as you can.
For combative training sessions during which they forewent meal and bathroom breaks to take responsibility for their lives.
Uh, Forewent meals and bathroom breaks. Yeah, I mean, that's not done anymore. There's automatic breaks every few hours, and but when Warner first, I'm going to paraphrase this until I pull it up. First did the forum, he did it with himself, and then he was doing it with other people, and um, going to the bathroom isn't very important to him. He's not someone that needs to go to the bathroom. If he is engaged or interested in something, he just won't go. So people would come in the first days of this that they're talking about, and they would say, "Hey, Warner, what about going to the bathroom?" He's like, I don't know. If you need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom." Um, so people thought that that was the way to do it, was to not go to the bathroom because Warner wasn't going to the bathroom. And it's all just hogwash nonsense. So I'll pull this up in a little bit. And yeah, now it's meal breaks and it's done out of your house anyway. So you just don't want to pay for a movie and then go and sit in the bathroom. Like, why would you pay for a movie and do that? So same thing here. You just don't want to miss something. It's $915 before discount. So it's not something that you want to like avoid and spend time going to the bathroom and then you miss something. And then it's like, well, of course you didn't get what you wanted out of it because weren't there the whole time. What was I looking at? A bathroom. Bathroom. Not the right searching tool. This isn't loaded yet. Let's see. Yeah, it is. There we go. So, yeah, if you read anything online that's negative, I say don't believe it. And I'm not telling you to believe me, and I'm not telling you the truth, but we'll see. Hmm. Anyway, I pretty much told the story about the bathroom thing and how that rumor started. If this loads up eventually, I'll pull it up, but we'll continue.
And get it by discovering that there was nothing to get. The criticism intensified as EST grew. It was labeled a cult that practiced mind control, verbal abuse, sleep deprivation.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the same criticisms,
Heavy recruiting and with graduate.
the same criticisms that they got in so history, they say doesn't repeat itself, it just rhymes. Um, what do you call it? So they just take the same problem solution as they did tens of thousands of years ago, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. It's just the same stuff. We're just repeating over and over again. So, yeah, I will pull this up, and this is. Let me just track this back a sec because I skipped something.
Believe that they're alive and get it by discovering that there was nothing to get. The criticism.
By discovering there's nothing to get. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, that's a Buddhist. I'm trying to relate that back to a distinction. But yeah, you get that at the end, life is empty and meaningless, and then it's empty and meaningless that it's empty and meaningless. Like a dog doesn't ascribe meaning to stuff. Um, at least doesn't talk about that. And and yet that's all we talk about when we talk about ourselves. And if I had happiness is not some place that you're ever gonna get to. You're not gonna get happy. Um, you could be happy, but the pursuit of happiness is a guarantee not to be happy. Um, Yeah. Yeah. So the forum is me being happy, right? So everyone, my friends are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go make my money and get my social life set, and then maybe one day, someday, I will be happy." And we just say, "Right, that's one way," and then there's another way of starting with the end. I have to remember which book has start with the end in mind. I would guess seven highly fat habits, successful habits of highly successful people, or how to win friends and influence people, but I'm not sure about that. But in any event, start with the end in mind, and I'd be happy. I get all the stuff done with that I wasn't happy about. That's made me feel some type of way. It was left in my head, and I think about it. You ever have a conversation and you think about it a little bit later, and you're like, oh, I could have said this or would have said this. Well, sometimes that results in pain for either myself or another person. And if I'm not fully done with that and put it off because there's certain memories that you don't remember, right? Because they're not that relevant or important, right? So if I fully complete where I was I don't know, upset with my brother, for example, and fully put that in the past, and now I'm no longer angry, upset at my brother because I just saw that good, bad, right, and wrong is all the sea of opinions. So now that I'm not doing that anymore, I don't have to carry that around with me. And I wasn't like physically carrying anything around, but it's just that mental anguish of like maybe that's why we didn't talk like while I was in college or whatever. And it's now there's no barrier for me reaching out to my brother. I just reach out. Um, and anyway, so he addresses the bathroom thing here, and I hope that says something about the let's see, getting nothing. Oh yeah, so now that I don't have any more of these complaints with my mom, with my dad, I didn't really have any complaints with. My brother. Um, uh, Now I'm free and because of that like that quote unquote burden or the thoughts in my head of like oh well that they're an ag like it's just none of that's there anymore, so that is right, that's the absence of that thing that was there that's no longer there, so once you wipe that out then there's nothing there. So yeah, I'm really getting nothing. It's a very free experience, not even experience, occurrence to me. Oh yeah, okay, and then the verbal abuse thing. Let's see here. Demean. Oh no, I didn't go over the bathroom one yet. Okay, so can you say something about the long hours? It's 60 hours. It seems kind of crazy. Um, Dick, I want to say one thing which is kind of funny. Oh, and he mentioned the bathroom thing as well. Like, oh, people thought they didn't weren't able to go to the bathroom. Um, it's kind of funny, and I know, uh, and have I have to clean this up a little bit, but have the kind of metabolism where going to the bathroom isn't very important to me. Going to the bathroom isn't very important and wasn't and was is very important to other people, to some people. I guess it has to do with the nerve endings around the bladder. I don't know, but it's just not important. And I don't know why it's not important to me. And I don't have to go to the bathroom. And I go to the bathroom as important as I think he said as much as anybody else, except if I'm doing something, I don't go to the bathroom. If I'm interested in what I'm doing, I just don't go. And so when I did, and I was the only person that did some training in the beginning, so the sessions would go on forever. We lied. I rather go to the bathroom. I don't know what nobody lied, but I don't know what that says. I'd rather go to the bathroom on that became a kind of a people were studying. I think this is all messed up, but people were studying the training and how I was doing the training. So they figured that this was not going to back it was very important part of a training I mean, it's just so stupid. Like people thought at one point they had a thought in their head that said that it's an important part of the training not to go to the bathroom. It's ridiculous. That's just what they were thinking. That's not what Mortar meant at all. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's literally that silly. The whole business, the business about going and people having these great theories about deprivation. Oh, it's saying like, oh, well, if you don't go to the bathroom, then you're depriving yourself, and that's part of the training. It's all nonsense. Deprivation and all the other. It's just I don't have to cover the bathroom so when I was doing the training, I don't have to go to the bathroom, I think it was meant to say. When I was doing the training and then people after me, they thought it that's the way you do the training. You don't go to the bathroom. You don't like these people, you don't let these people go to the bathroom. Nobody bothered to say, "Hey Werner, what about going to the bathroom?" Well, you go if you have to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. You got to go. I don't know. I also don't need a lot of sleep. So the trainings would go long into the night, and people in the training needed a lot of sleep. I didn't need a lot of sleep, so therefore, the weekend, a lot of people who were asleep during the training. But it turns out it works anyway. It turns out it works as well whether you're asleep or awake. It's all horse spit, turns out. Meaning that this whole concern about not being able to go to the bathroom or not getting enough sleep is all horse spit. No kidding, Dick. It's just crap. Look, exactly. It's just like, let me tell you something. In part, we have let it go where there's an automatic break every 4 hours now. I don't know if this is exactly accurate, but this is just scripting from this video on authority and the danger process and enlightenment. And the we keep so just Google or sorry, YouTube for the danger process and enlightenment, it'll come up. And keep doing 60 hours because if we didn't and any less time for a day, it would take more than 4 hours, more than 4 days, excuse me, which is already a problem for people. But let me say something. You go into the prison and be authoritative with the inmates in San Quentin. I want to see you do that. I want to see you do it. I want to see one of you, anyone, go into San Quentin and be not be part of the system and get into a room with inmates where there are no guards. And I want to see you be authoritarian. Now we've done the training in San Quentin prison with no guards and room with prisoners and 250 of them and 5 of us. And the training works spectacularly. And it works just as well in Israel as it does in New York City. And it works just as well in Davenport, Iowa as it does in Los Angeles. And it works every bit as well with Harvard professors as it does with I don't know. What's the opposite of a Harvard professor? If someone jokes, I think it's Dick, a Yale professor. All right, so that covers the oh no. We wanted to do the verbal abuse claim. So I have never experienced anything close, nor I have seen anything experience nothing close to abuse or assault or sexual this or that or any of that stuff. A lot of people say a lot of things. Oh, custom ass, saying I don't want to take much time to like this discussion of the issues, maybe a little bit hard. Uh, what? Oh, wait. So the mute is down here. All right. If I miss something, I'll cut back to it. But something about the question of oh, there were two questions here. One was um about authoritarianism, I guess you could call that abuse. And this will answer what the other one was. One of the things I think is very important. Oh, wait, maybe I can kill two birds with one stone, Dick, by relating to it as authoritarianism as well. He's answering maybe Dick's question about authoritarianism and the other question that I'll get to here about uh the fervor or the excitement or like why people are saying that this is the one thing, which it is not. In fact, people participants go off to do a million other things after it, so it cannot be the one thing. Um, and I this addresses kind of like all things to all people, like it's not that. So one of the things I think is very important for you to know is that the training is mass produced custom service. I don't know any other mass produced custom services. Yeah, I would say most religions would be, right? So it's welcoming to everybody. And it's not custom. It is what the pastor wants to talk about that week. Never mind. So I don't know any mass produced custom services. So we produce, but the fact is once you find that, anyways. So we produce it massively, but the service is totally customized. So that if there are 250 people in the training, there are 250 different trainings. Very little of the training is done at you. Oh, this is such the best line ever. I can't tell you. One of my friends thinks I'm talking at him. And if it is in that part which might be done at you, is clearly done at you for by example. So if anything is done at you, okay, so you might not know remember that in the moment, but they have to sit clear to get that was an example. Um, any interaction that happens. So someone's like, they're like, who wants to share about something that they're present to or whatever. So someone will share their hand, they'll go up and work with the trainer and they'll the work that they are doing in that conversation about like for example the sea of opinions and good versus bad, right versus wrong, true versus false, etc., good versus evil. Um, uh, that interaction that they're having about how that stuff applies to that person's life also could pertain to you as well. So it's not like, oh, well, she's working on her divorce, so I'm not going to listen to that. It's like, you want to just listen. Like, I've listened from a bunch of angles. So, one is lady is speaking, therefore, I can see my mom or my wife or my daughter or my cousin in her because of whatever something she said or something that happened or something. And then I could also listen from the angle of like, well, yeah, that is the angle, really. Um, but what I'm looking at is someone having a challenging relationship is where am I having a challenging relationship? Right? So I'm literally doing the work at the same time. Anyway, um, very little you in the moment as a matter of truth in the matter. As it doesn't make any difference whether you stand up or I stand up in an interaction with the trainer, that the example made the training is also done, people say, very harshly, and in some cases very crudely. Scatological language, people called assholes. That there no, at least when I did it in 2006, well, maybe there was some of that. When I did it in my father-in-law did it in 2022, he there wasn't any of this whatsoever. So it doesn't mean you're not gonna love your trainer, right? I think everybody has the experience of hating their trainer at some point. Merely because if they're bringing up the example, and I live my whole life out of good, bad, right, wrong, good and evil, true, false, and then I see that that's all opinions. I mean, that could be a little dismaying for people, a little uncomfortable. In fact, definitely uncomfortable, strange territory. assholes. So a lot of people on hearing what happens in the training are offended. So someone that has not done the training is hearing about the training and they or is hearing about these things like harshly scatological language, crudely, people called assholes. Um, are they're offended by that and concerned by that. And I know because I'm the guy that trained the people who are leading the training. That the training is done with absolute compassion and that the toughness and harshness and even the scatological language, including calling people assholes, is done out of a deep sense of respect for them and out of an intention to get straight with them with absolutely no intention to demean them. And as a matter of fact, in terms of results, they are not demeaned. They are enhanced. The training is done with what we called ruthless compassion, but it's done with compassion and it's done with a real sense of dignity of human beings, not the ordinary social grease we call respect for each other, but a really deep kind of respect. The kind of respect wherein you have this sense that you'd be willing to be in the trenches with the person alongside you. You know, it's really empowering to discover that you've been relating with people you love out of the concept of loving and denying yourself the experience of love. And sometimes you've got to be intrusive with people to get that up on the mat. But I tell you, it's coming out of respect for them and a commitment for them, a commitment to them. Um, okay, we'll continue.
All that practice mind control, verbal abuse, sleep deprivation, a racket that exploits.
There's no mind control whatsoever. This is the opposite of control. This is empowerment. I call it power, but power is an easily misunderstood word. At least what I mean by power is an easily misunderstood word. I mean empowerment. So empowerment, same as freedom, same side of the coin, same coin. And yeah, no control, no force. Force is the negation of power. Mm.
Weighted its followers, heavy recruiting, endless graduate seminars. Much was made.
Uh, yeah, there's no recruiting. Yeah, I am happier after 5 days, and I'm asking people that I've known since I was 5 years old or earlier, hey, like I would challenge any one of you to have that conversation. I'm now happier. Come do this thing that made me happier and is a 94% satisfaction rating by Harris Interactive polls to do the customized, mass-produced customized trading. So you get your own trading and you leave happier, more free, more peace of mind, freedom from anxiety. Uh, yeah.
Made of Mr. Earhart's tangled Don Draperish past. His days.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to hold one person accountable for a whole organization. And we went over this, I believe, in the last video that there's an ombuds person that protects anybody. So if anybody doesn't want to say something, they don't have to be that the person that was said about. And yeah, I mean, it seems like, there was, I mean, that's the world. I can't stop people from wanting to be socially active as they are in the way that they are. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. I mean, they don't do it in person anymore. So there's no more interacting anymore. So there's no more dating anymore. So that there was a whole, yeah, I mean, look, having policies and procedures and all those things, um, to make sure everyone feels completely comfortable is, it takes what it takes. And Not only did their policies and procedures really make a massive difference on the whole organization as far as, interactions between participants or staff members or whatever. Um, it's just not a thing anymore because it's now done online. It's like a real anyway. Uh yeah, so as a salesperson, and more importantly, as I said this in another video, management of salespeople, like I had to learn more, read more, stay ahead, especially if when I hired people that were super like sharp and on their game and they were learning a lot too. All of a sudden, they now know more than me, and I'm the one that interviewed them. So that sort of drove me to I mean, look, I wanted to be in promotions and just do marketing and public relations and stuff for radio stations. And my the manager of our college station was like, "Hey, why don't you consider sales?" And I'm like, da, 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 da. Anyway, there was a radio sales class in college. It was wonderful. And I got to hang out with this guy that sold for the classic rock station in Boston. I hung out with him after I was already graduated, but we went on a sales meeting together. But um, yeah, I ended up going that route, and I am in control of my income. And even as promotions, like I could have sold ads. I just don't know that I would have. I mean, see, now I have the choice to do both. You know what I mean? I can do the marketing stuff, and then happen to sell a bunch of ads in the meantime. Um, but I wouldn't have had that if I went the other way around. Um, Anyway, so of course, a salesperson, a Steve Jobs, who had to, I mean, ultimately he's responsible for the sales, right? Would find enlightenment. Um, I mean, that's what we have. Anyway. Um, I mean, who else claims that they were enlightened publicly? Maybe the Beatles. I mean, look, they got to sell them. They had to sell themselves on stage. They had to sell their records. They were ultimately the authors of their own success, and no one else was selling theirs. I mean, people were selling their stuff, but because they were selling it, you know what I mean? So it's not surprising to me that a car salesman would be someone that would find enlightenment. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's kind of how I found it. Not really, but um dynamics, mind dynamics. Yeah, I keep hearing I mean, talk about these mind dynamics. They make it seem like mind control, which I'm sure it's a lot of what they're concerned about here. So by using the words mind dynamics, oh, and then related to Scientology, sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Landmark Forum's not theological or religious in any way whatsoever. Scientology is a religion. Um, and it is what it is. I mean, Scientology is what it is. Landmark is not Scientology. Landmark is not mind control whatsoever. Yes, he left his four children and wife, and I'm not making any excuses for that whatsoever. But the man went back and now has a great relationship with his ex-wife and four children, and there's nothing left unsaid between any one of them at all. Yeah, I hope you have the best day ever. We'll continue in a sec.